My name is Sydney Songer. I'm a holistic wellness practitioner and the Gemstone Education Specialist with Gemisphere, and today I want to talk to you about citrine. Now, the mission of citrine is all about fulfilling your potential, and it does this by way of the yellow ray. The yellow ray helps us to release what no longer serves us, and it helps create flexibility in areas where there's been more inflexibility or blockages. When this happens, it allows us to move into a state where we're more willing to accept what we need to advance in our evolution and our growth. Now, this aspect of letting go of what no longer serves us can affect us not only on a physical level, but also on a mental and emotional level as well. But the real mission of citrine is really that of a spiritual one, in that when we release everything that doesn't serve us and we move those blockages and create flexibility in the flow of energy in our body, it allows us to embrace ever increasing levels of consciousness as we move forward in our spiritual development. So as citrine brings more of the yellow ray into the system, it begins working on the physical body, first at the cellular level. It's going to work to try and create more flexibility and motion within the cells to increase the efficiency of those cellular processes. It then moves from there to the tissue, and then to the organs, to the organ systems, and then to the body as a whole. Typically, the most obvious place that we notice this increased flexibility is in our muscles. I'm sure that you have had times when you felt incredibly tight in your muscles and you could feel that tightness. You could also really notice when that tension and tightness was relieved and flexibility was restored and movement became easier. So that's something that we look at, but also the yellow ray corresponds very strongly with the organs of digestion. So this includes things like the skin, the intestines, bladder, liver, kidneys, the stomach. So whenever we have issues affecting those organs, citrine is really a wonderful tool to work with. And honestly, one of my favorites. I make sure I have it with me everywhere just in case something happens. Now, this can be useful for things like acid reflux is one that I use it for a lot. I'm sure a lot of you know what that's like. If you have an upset stomach, if you're suffering from something like constipation or diarrhea, you can either wear it as a necklace and have it infuse your entire system, or you can curl the necklace up in your hand and place it over the area of your abdomen that's bothering you, and you'll pretty quickly start to notice that movement. I've had a lot of people who were just shocked when I was like, here, put this on your stomach, and they're like, okay, whatever, it's a gemstone, and they're like, whoa, that's like instant movement. Things are moving around in there. And that's the whole point, is that it's creating that flexibility, that fluid-like motion, and bringing more of that life force in so that those organs can begin to correct themselves, come back into alignment, and function properly. So if you have any kind of digestive stuff going on, including issues with the skin, citrine can be a wonderful place to look first. Now, you can also use this as a wonderful tool for, as I mentioned with the muscles, if you're having tension or tightness, if you have trigger points or knots in the muscles, you can wear the necklace, or you can use it acutely where you hold it over the area where you're feeling that tension and tightness, and you'll notice that over time it should begin to loosen up as that yellow ray is infused into the area. So I want to talk a little bit about how citrine and the yellow ray can affect the mind and the emotions. There's this really interesting concept that when we have certain issues in the body, they can be found mirrored in the mind, and when we have certain issues in the mind, they can be found mirrored in the body. And in the case of stuck emotions, we tend to find that in the stomach. It's usually an emotion, a belief, or a thought. Maybe it's from something that's happened, or it's just an anxiety that's come out of worry about the future. When we hold on to those and we don't let them go, it does tend to translate into dysfunction in the stomach, whether it's you feel like you have butterflies in your stomach, or you feel like you're going to be sick, or you're having more bowel activity than you would like. A lot of times this literally translates to we are holding on to emotions and thoughts that we cannot digest or we cannot release. And so citrine is this wonderful tool that I love using with people when they're in that kind of stuck holding pattern, or perhaps they're having ruminating thoughts, or just finding that they're having trouble just moving forward in what they're doing. I suggest citrine. Let's go in. Let's see if you're taking up room within your vital force, within your mind, within your capacity, with things that are no longer relevant, that no longer serve you. Let's see if we can get those moving and get them out of the picture and see what your potential is then. And as we bring in more energy, you'll have room to create new thoughts, new belief patterns, and to hopefully resolve any of the physical symptoms that may have been manifesting as a result of holding on to those negative thoughts. So a good indicator that you might have a yellow ray imbalance in the body, in the solar plexus, which corresponds with all of the organs of digestion, is if you have a lot of emotional extremes, if your emotional nature lacks balance, if you find that you have a really hard time regulating your emotional response to things in life, there's a good chance that this imbalance is present and that you could benefit from working with citrine and bringing more yellow ray into your system. I want to mention a couple final notes about working with citrine, and that has to do with increasing the efficiency of working with it and also addressing why we tend to have the polished rondelles or the chips instead of the rounded spheres like most of our other gemstone necklaces. Now, one necklace of citrine can absolutely have a profound effect on the body, but it tends to be much more efficient at higher amounts, higher mass of the gemstone. And so sometimes the best way to increase the efficacy of it is to wear more of it. You can wear 2 or 3 necklaces of it at a time, and that's going to help it push that yellow ray and have those effects throughout your field at a faster rate so that it can move from the cellular to the tissue to the organ system processes a bit more expeditiously, I suppose. The other option is, because it is one of the primary color ray gemstones, you can pair it with quartz, as I mentioned in the quartz video, to amplify its effects. So you can, that's 2 options that you have. If you're wearing it and it feels good, but it feels like your body's wanting more and more and you're not quite getting as much as your system is asking for, you can start by pairing it with quartz to see if that helps bring that frequency up to a place that matches your body's desire for what it's needing from it. Or you can consider adding additional citrine necklaces as you move along until you reach the place where you feel like you are getting a sufficient supply of that yellow ray for the purposes of what your body needs it for. Now, to address the rondelles, the chips that we have, a rounded polished sphere of citrine is still going to be beneficial in loosening blockages and creating that flexibility throughout the system. But we have found that using the polished chips, the irregularity of the shape of it tends to enhance that wave-like action and disruptive action where it's trying to move and disrupt these stuck and stagnant patterns of energy throughout the field. And so having those irregular patterns in its shape seems to make it much more efficient in what it's doing. That doesn't mean that wearing the spheres, which is included in some of the combination necklaces that we have, doesn't work. It just means that if what you are primarily looking to do or what you're interested in from it is loosening these old stuck patterns and releasing what no longer serves you, then wearing it in chip form in the necklace is going to be the most efficient way of accomplishing that. I'd like to mention one other way that citrine can help benefit the physical body in terms of things like alignment and stuck patterns or inflexibility, and that's when there's spinal misalignment. I have found that because the spine is held in place by the musculature, if those muscles are tight and tense, it's going to affect the alignment of the spine, which can have a lot of different effects on the body. If you've had spinal misalignment, you know exactly how this can look and how it can feel. And so creating more flexibility and movement throughout the body, but also through the spine and the neck, can increase our body's resilience and ability to heal and function properly and pull that life force in and distribute it throughout our field and through our system. So one of the ways that you can use it acutely is I would suggest wearing the necklace for a few days to begin with, just to kind of make sure that your field is infused with the frequency of it and it's already kind of communicating with your body and you're used to that vibration. But then you can take it off and curl it up in your hand and actually hold it on top of your head, right on top of your crown chakra, which I don't advise doing very often, but citrine is one where it's totally okay to just get it right on there. And basically what you want to do is, as you're holding the necklace on top of your head, you want to just allow your head and your neck to begin to move in very gentle, slow rotations like this. And you can kind of listen to your body as you're doing this. You may feel kind of a rhythm or a wave-like movement that starts moving down, and that's okay. If it's a little bit more rigid to begin with, this might take a few minutes to kind of start enacting itself, but just feel your way through it, moving through the neck. It may start to move down into the shoulders or down through the back, and just hold this here for about 10 to 15 minutes and allow that energy to kind of flow down through the spine and through all the musculature, and allow that wave-like pattern to sort of guide you as you're going through this process, making sure to pay attention to your breathing and really focus on relaxing the mind and just receiving this energy and letting it communicate with your body. You're going to want to maybe wear the necklace for a few days afterwards as well, or in between sessions. You can do this on a daily basis, or you can do it a few times a week, or you can just do it as necessary if you're feeling a lot of tension and tightness in your neck or in your spine, and you're trying to encourage it to feel better and to get more movement and flexibility and to relax a bit more. So that's one treatment that you can try. There are others. If you have additional questions at the end of this video, by all means, please feel free to give us a call at Gemisphere. You can also schedule a consultation with me to learn a bit more how it might be applied in your life. And there's additional information also on the webpage about it as well. And thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. I will be putting out more educational videos as we move forward, and subscribing will alert you so that you can watch it as soon as it's posted. Thank you.